Do you like dogs?
Dags.
What?
Yeah, dogs.
Dogs. Do you like dogs?
Oh, dogs. Sure. I like dags.
So, by the way, side note, everybody. I had the this is why I bought all the new flags. I had the fucking Kekistan flag up for the last video, and somebody had to fucking give me shit about the Kekistan flag. You know, so like, whatever. That's why I got all the new flags. But whatever. So, back to President Bush, right? Here's a just a public service message to all of you. If you have grown children, it's too fucking late. But if you have children that are still going to be living with you for at least a couple of years, right? Then you're all right. Let your kids be around dogs. I'm not saying get a dog. I'm not telling you all that you need to get a dog. You want to get a dog? Awesome. You don't want to get a dog? Whatever. I don't have a dog. I'm technically not even allowed to have a dog here. I'm not allowed to have a dog. Mom and Dad said no. So I can't have a dog in my own apartment. But, you know, if I could, I still wouldn't have a dog. Like, me personally, I'm weird about it. I think that purchasing a small tragedy is fucking stupid. But whatever. So, I'll wait to get a dog until I'm, a good 5 years away from dying. Right? And the dog will outlive me, and I won't have to deal with the dog dying. But, so, but just let your children be around dogs. You know what I mean? Just let them be around dogs. Take them to the pet store and let them pet the puppies. Whatever the fuck it takes. Just let your children be around dogs. Right? And those of you who are adults that have never really been around dogs, that don't really know anything about dogs, that have never visited with a dog, never had a friend that had a dog, never had a dog themselves, any of you that have just never experienced dogs before in your life, buy a dog. I'm telling you guys, don't go to a breeder or anything like that. Go to the shelter, right? Find yourself what looks like a good, cool dog. And get that dog and take very good care of it. And you will have an amazing experience. Because it's the only explanation I have for this. It really is. George Bush dies. George Bush had a service dog. I don't know what for, but he had a service dog for something. I don't know, because he was old as fuck and give him a dog. I don't know what his service dog is for. Maybe he had some sort of something. The service dog, it's a hell of a lot more than just blind people with dogs now. Service dogs are amazing. They can do all manner of shit, I've come to learn over the past year or so. They can do a lot. And who knows what it was. Could have been just about a lot of things. So, George Bush had a service dog for the last 6 months, right? And he died. Very sad. And then the casket. And then somebody snapped a picture of the dog here, right? With the casket. And they put something like mission accomplished or something like that. I don't know. It was one of goofy tweets. And, you know, whatever. Did the dog do that? Did the dog walk over to the casket and lay down like that? Is the dog sad that George Bush is gone? I'm sure the dog is sad that George Bush is gone. Right? But these dogs are very well trained. Very well trained. And these dogs, in particular, very well trained. Because these are dogs that get assigned to people, you know, for a specific amount of time and then, you know, whatever. So, these dogs are well trained. Trained by people that know dogs. Right? So I'm sure that they have done things to handle it with the dog so that the dog understands George Bush ain't coming back. So that the dog doesn't do what a lot of dogs wind up doing. master dies and they fucking, they just never figure it out. They never move on. You find all manner of different, tear-jerking stories like that. I'm not going to tell anything to you because I'm not crying. So, whatever. I'm sure the dog is, sad that George Bush is gone. Did he do this, or did somebody say, hey, Sully, come over here and now lay down? And then the dog laid down and they snapped. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the dog chose to lay down next to the casket because the dog knew that George Bush's corpse was in there and he was like, I just want to be next to him one more time. Or somebody put the dog there and had the dog lay down. It doesn't matter because the dog still understands that that person that he spent the last 6 months with, and who even knows how much, the dog could have been sitting with a Secret Service member and never been around George Bush once the whole 6 months, or the dog could have never at any point left his fucking side. The dog could have been with him every waking moment. I don't know how that goes with service dogs. Boss lady, let everybody know in the comments how often you're around your service dog so that they can get an accurate measure of possibly how long he would have been around the service dog for. But if he was around the service dog at all, and I'm gonna guess that he was with that dog all the way up until, and quite possibly sleep. Like, I don't know if he slept with the dog in the bed. Some people fucking do that. So he could have been hanging out with that dog in bed, whatever. And, right? So they could have gotten quite a bond going. And here's the fun thing about dogs. Dogs used to be very wild creatures. Like all creatures of the world, including human beings. We used to be wild too. Some of us still are. Some of us used to be when we were a lot younger. But nevertheless, all wild creatures, right? Eat cats, right? Gerbils. Imagine that. Wild gerbils. But yeah, wild gerbils. Kind of like wild rats, wild mice, right? So, you got these wild dogs. Dogs are generally scavengers. Some of them are hunters, but mostly they like to eat things, and they'll eat whatever's there. They don't demand that their kills be fresh. They'll take a carcass that's just laying there on the fucking, they don't care, right? They're, for the most part, scavengers, right? And dogs figured out that humans leave a lot of shit to scavenge. So dogs started to hang out with us. They said, you know what? I could kill you and eat you, but I won't. Because that would mean that all this shit that you guys just leave around would stop being new every once in a while. And I want to keep eating that shit because that hey, I can eat off this shit forever. Why not? And dogs kind of started to hang out with us. And we started to kind of go, well, alright, if you want to hang out and eat all of the shit that I just leave around occasionally, then I'll allow that. But, you see this stick? You gotta catch it. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it actually happened. But whatever it is, we figured out that you can hunt bears with dogs or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, hunt them with dogs and bears. Like, right? Everybody saw 13th Warrior. Right? So, we started using dogs. And we started training them to do things. And we started to figure out these things are awesome. And then, as time grew on, we didn't need to have such a violent partnership with these animals, right? Hunting is violent. That's what I mean. So we didn't need to have this kind of a violent relationship with them, and we could just kind of chill with each other, right? We industrialized, we grew as people, and then we just kind of started continuing to keep dogs, but just as pets. And they're awesome. Because we found out, holy shit, the world is changing. Our need for things is turning very different. But dogs still fucking fit with shit we need done. They can still do stuff for us. This is awesome. And they're cool to just hang out with. Like, they don't have to be all amped up and fucking mean all the time. They're actually pretty chill beasties. They're fun to hang out with. So, dogs have evolved with us as we've gone through the ages. They've been with us since the beginning. Like, dogs have grown with us, right? And we've gotten them to the point through just being that way with us that many of their instincts are dulled. And a lot of them are just kind of fucking gone. So now they are completely domesticated animals for the most part. Not all dogs, not all canines. Wolves, obviously, very difficult to domesticate because wolves are big and they don't give a fuck about scraps. They'll go and kill shit if they want to. And we found out that dogs will eat your baby. Like wolves will eat your baby, so we don't keep those motherfuckers around because they don't give a shit. They consider babies to be scraps that they can just feed off. Or however it was that actually fell out. Again, I don't fucking know. I wasn't there, and I don't think there's recorded history on that. I'm probably wrong on that, but I don't know. Anyways, so, yeah, we've come a long way, us and dogs, and that's why they call them man's best friend. And it doesn't take long for a dog to bond with people. It really doesn't. And if you've ever been around a dog, you'd know that. Because dogs, maybe the dog barks its head off for the first 10, 15 minutes that you're over at some new friend's house or whatever. Maybe the dog fucking freaks out and they gotta put it in another room and shit, but at some point you let the dog out and then the dog comes over and sniffs you and goes, alright, whatever. And then you pet the dog and the dog goes, you're the best thing in the world. Like, that's how dogs are. They freak out and then they want to know who the fuck you are. They want to get a good sniff of you. And then once they do, they go, okay, alright, what are you going to do now? And if you pet them, they love you for the rest of your existence. Like, it's just how it works with dogs. It's fucking weird. But that's how it is. And dogs have, from what I've learned through Animal Planet, dogs have an amazing index in their brains for scents. Like, I guess they kind of remember every scent they've ever smelled in, like, their lives. Like, it's not that fucking Total Recall-ish, but they're really good at remembering scents. It's amazing the things that they can do with their nose. And since their schnoz is so big, they have so much nose there that they, and it's all sensitive the whole way across. They're great with their noses. So, they remember smells really well. And they'll remember you. And if you don't see a dog for a fucking year, like if you go and visit your aunt or uncle, like I did every year, and they had dogs, the dog remembers you. It does. The dog remembers you. Right? Dogs used to bark their fucking heads off, and then they'd see it's me, and they'd come over and sniff me, and it was like, oh, I remember you, man! And they, dogs are like that. And dogs have emotions. They kind of tend to mimic the emotions of their owners. But they have their own emotions. But if you're putting off a lot of emotion, like if you're really fucking excited, they're really fucking excited. They don't give a shit what it's about. They're just, oh my god, I don't know what's going on, but this is great. And that's what they do. And if you're really sad, dogs are really sad. They'll mope around with you. They don't give a shit. Everything was great, and I saw you're moping, man, and now I feel bad for you. And they just, oh. And that's how they are. But for the most part, dogs do have their own emotions. They can be happy. When they fucking get really, you want to play, don't you? I don't want to play. Why do you want to play right now? God damn it. And then you go play with the dog. They do their own emotional stuff too, but they will mimic yours. And So everybody around that dog is sad. The dog knows that he is not catching any new scents from that person that he's been hanging out with for 6 months. And everybody's sad. The dog may not fully understand, oh, he's dead. The dog may. I don't know. I don't know dogs that well. But the dog understands that everybody's sad and that he's missing a part of his life that was in his life for 6 months, which in dog years is 3.5 years. So he hung out with George Bush probably every day, all day long for 3.5 years. That's a long fucking time. I'd say there was a bond of some sort. And the dog probably misses George Bush. Right? This is my argument. Right? Slate throws up a tweet, however. Their argument is, Sully H.W. Bush is a service dog who had been with the president for 6 months, not his lifelong companion. And they wrote this whole article about how the dog had only been with him for 6 months and the dog doesn't give a shit and this is all staged and you're all fucking mooing and on over this staged fucking horse shit and piss on all of you. Right? And people got pissed. Everybody got angry. And I'm just like, that right there is somebody who's never been around a dog. Like, obviously, it's pretty obvious, I think, that the person who wrote that article and the person who said, yeah, that's good, print it, they both have just never been around dogs before. Like, or else they were looking to just be universally hated and fucking called assholes for this shit. Because obviously they've just never been around dogs before. I gotta look for some sort of good in them. They have to be human beings, right? They can't have been around dogs and been like, eh. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying. For those of you out there who are parents that have children, allow your kids to be around dogs. And for those of you who are adults who have never had a dog before, get a dog. Because it's, honestly, at this point in our evolution, it can be argued that it's actually meant to be.